struggle of the 2022 Baltimore Ravens. First question came from my guy, JT. He said, what's good, Ingraven? Definitely not our Ravens. Another embarrassing loss. John's seat has to be getting hot, and I don't care how many I love you and hugs he sends Lamar's way. Lamar not about to save his job for a third time. Well, I don't think John Harbaugh's seat is hot at all. At all. I don't think it's even heating up whatsoever. His team is they 7-4. They're 7-4. They still first place in the AFC North. It's not getting hot at all, in my opinion. But anyway, he said, and don't get me started on Greg Roman. Just finished watching the film, so I feel comfortable saying G-Ro needs to dye this offensive scheme a different color and not just his goatee. Guy calls the same plays in the red zone. It's wild. So much blame to go around to our offensive line missing and not holding blocks, to everyone dropping the ball. And don't get me started on our bankrupt defense. So much more I can say, but this email is long enough. Hope the fam is well. Sending peace and blessings your way. Appreciate it. And he said, P.S. After watching the tape, I can assure you Lamar had more drop passes than bad passes. Even the balls that look overthrown were really not. You know what? I saw that. I saw with, now he has had some overthrows this year, but just specifically this Jaguars game, I saw DeMarcus Robinson, he slowed up a bit. I was like, ooh, this, yikes. And then with Josh Oliver, he did the same thing on the touchdown pass. I said, oh, boy. But, again, Lamar has still had his overthrows, though, this year. He also said, I also want to say you never know what you have until it's gone. I will admit I was one of those who was not upset at losing Hollywood. More upset that we didn't replace him with anyone. His production really shows now more than ever, with Lamar struggling with the deep ball, mostly because our receivers now can't track the ball. Really took Brown for granted. I'll take his drops any day now. Without him, we are leading the league in drop balls. You know what's funny? Who was it? There was I forgot who it was, but somebody had told me a while back, Duvernay, he struggles with tracking the deep ball. That's a big thing for him. He struggles with it. And I ain't really paying no mind like that. And now we've been seeing like, ooh, this. Well, I mean, really a lot of these guys be looking lost out there. But they got to get better. Everybody got to get better. Lamar got to get better. The receivers got to get better. Well, yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. He said, sorry for these long rants. It's just been tough being a fan this year. And if EDC lets go of Lamar, he's letting go of me too. And he said, thanks for all that you do. No, JT, thank you for your brutal honesty.
Yeah, this feels like a dream. And you know just what I mean. You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, he's a fan and he like the Ravens. And you know just what I mean. You too, team, keep it clean. You see my boy, he like gotta made it. Boy, that's my homie, ain't that right, Ingraven?
Why? Next question came from my boy Flirt Nowinski. He said, I'm back from my mental breakdown. Hope all is well with you and yours per usual. You have always said the fans know before the media does. I just want to say, bro, I never doubted you, and once again, you're right. The whole theory on the Ravens trying to sabotage Lamar to pay him less is totally spot on. Jamison Hensley blatantly lied on Lamar, and now it's getting spun everywhere. A few people have corrected those on TV, so shout out to Shady McCoy and Stephen A. Smith. But Jamison lied to assassinate him and his character to pay him less. I used to think these theories were kind of left field, but bro, if this doesn't prove them right, I don't know what will. And just like I am when I see the Ravens with a lead, knowing McDonald's is going to call the same play back to back to lose the game, I'm out. Ooh. See, the business is tough. It's a shady business. I mean, shout out to Shady McCoy, you just mentioned it, but the NFL is a shady business. It's a tough business, but it is a business. But and with Lamar, that's why I said it from jumping that video, man, before it even went crazy. I knew it was going to go crazy. I knew that even if he tried to delete it, once he put it on the internet, it's there forever. And I knew it was going to go crazy, and it's like, man, people already, they're waiting for Lamar to mess up. They're waiting for him to slip up on the football field, but they certainly waiting for him to slip up off of it too. And whether it's social media, whether it's, again, you remember the whole thing that everybody was tripping over him playing football with the kids, and so people are always looking for something. But even though he's in such a tough position, it's up to him not to give it to him. Next question came from my guy Knox. He said the media is paying attention. What's good, Ingraven? I hope everything is well. I've been watching Speak for Yourself, First Take, Good Morning Football, and they're all saying the same things we've been saying for years. They're saying how Lamar is carrying the team, how he's still playing the best he can with what's around him, and how there's been no changes to coaching or how they play their offense. I know this is stuff that we know, but it's good to finally have the media put some pressure on Harbaugh in this front office. Maybe this will force some kind of change and get them out of their ways. While the league zigs in the right place, it's time to stop zagging. I don't think that will do anything. The only way change would happen, in my opinion, is if change happened to the people who are implementing the philosophy. That's the only way I think significant change will happen, especially as far as not even just the offense, but just the way that the team is constructed and built and the way that they play football in general. But obviously more so specifically the offense. But just the philosophy. I don't think anything major will change unless the people in charge do. Next question came from my guy Makai. He said, hello, Ingraven. I wanted to reach out to you on your comments about the Ravens not being bought into Lamar as a quarterback. To that, I say, why would they offer him a 6-year, $290 million contract with more guaranteed money than Kyler and Russell Wilson? You know, I wish we could see the details on that. I wish we could. Like, I wish we could really, because I remember the rumors back then, but I wish we could actually, like, really know the exact amounts and stuff and how it was set up and how it was structured and whatnot and where the Ravens out could be if things weren't going so well. But anyway, he said, I don't believe you can say a team isn't bought into someone as a quarterback and offer that kind of money to someone. Just my opinion. Keep up the great work. Well, my thing is with the reason I say the Ravens, that's a tongue twister, are not bought into Lamar Jackson is because of the way that they've moved. The way that the lackluster attempts at building this offense. We always hear about we tried to get this receiver, that guy. We tried, but they always end up coming up short. But when it comes to defense, they don't come up short for defensive guys. The way they draft, the way they run a team, the offensive coordinator with Greg Roman, especially with them knowing who he is, how he is. But again, it's still deeper than Greg Roman. Much deeper than Greg Roman. It's just all about philosophy. What they put their emphasis on. They put their emphasis on the running game. The run game. That's why sometimes I wonder, like, man, what are they trying to do? Are they really trying to win Super Bowl? Or are they just trying to stay around? Are they just trying to stay relevant? Are they just trying to stay competitive, so to speak? I just wish, because you had this dude on playing for cheap for years, cheap. And even now this year, you get him at a discount, $23 million. Cheap. You had him for 5. This is the 5th year, and again, we could scratch out the first year. So you had him for cheap for 4 years, because we could scratch out his rookie year. That's fine. Take that away. You had him for cheap for 4 years, and you really couldn't even get him that guy a receiver. Because we have so many conversations with people. People talk about, Lamar, he got to get better with his receivers, this, that, and the third. If he's missing the receivers that he got now, then why will we get better receivers? Well, it's like, if Lamar has shown you who he is with everything that he's had over the years or lack thereof, why wouldn't you want to see him with much better at that position specifically? I never understand that. Why would you not want to see him with better around him? Even if you say, scheme, which I could understand that argument, but still, even if you say that, why wouldn't you want to see him with better quality around him? We do it on the defensive side. But on the offensive side, it's always an issue. Next question came from Speed Killer. He said, hey, Ingraven, I just want to say that I really think this should be or has to be Lamar's last year in Baltimore, because it is better for his career if he gets out now, because every team has taken a step forward, and the Ravens haven't in 5 years, and he is never going to get a true number one from the draft or from free agency. So I believe he has to do like Lamar and take his career into his own hands and leave to get with an organization that trusts and believes in him and will help him maximize all his talent. One team I had in mind was the Vikings. Well, you know what? I didn't even think about them. They are in the NFC, so I'm sure if Ravens do trade him, they're going to do everything in their power to trade him out of the AFC. But we'll see. But wow, that is. But at the same time, it all depends on the best offer. It depends on the best offer, and I'm sure they would obviously run it by Lamar and his people first too, to see if he even approved of it, and out of respect for him too. But because it doesn't always work like that. Because look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs with Tyreek Hill. They're an AFC team. They traded him right to the AFC team. They traded him right to the Dolphins. They said, there you go, Miami. Enjoy. And the other team that they were going to trade him to was the Jets. So right in the AFC again. So the Chiefs said, oh, we're going to trade him in the AFC. We're getting some good picks. Oh, yeah, we'll take it. So it's not like get what it is, Lamar Jackson now. I mean, ooh, yeah. Ooh, I will. Anyway, we'll talk about that, I guess, in a couple months. But Vikings will be something because he got some guys over there. I think Kirk Cousins just re-signed, though, like last year. Or I know he recently, like, re-signed. I'm pretty sure that he did, so I don't think Vikings will happen. But that's never a team that I thought about. But yeah, man, this offseason is gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy busy. Ravens got a lot of work to do and a lot of moves to make. Post game rant. Next question came from my guy Rodell. He said, "Man, oh man, how good is Marcus Peters?" No, really, stop for a second and think. How good is he? Marcus Peters never been a lockdown island corner like Ramsey. He's never been a zone master like Sherman. He is the ultimate gambler. Yeah. When the gamble pays off, he's the man. But more times than not, the gamble doesn't pay off, and you're left with what we are seeing. Simply put, Marcus Peters does not fit Mike McDonald's scheme. He's been awful this year, and the injury excuse don't work because we praise him when he makes plays, but more times than not, he's been barbecue chicken. That's tough, man. I did see that article. I'm sure y'all seen it by now. That was on The Athletic, where he was interviewed. I forgot who he was interviewed by, but he was talking about how he still be second guessing himself. He still be second guessing his decisions and whatnot. He said he knows what to do. He knows the answer, and he'll pick the right answer, but sometimes he'll go back on it. So I was thinking, I don't know, but I do like with the whole injury thing. It's true, man. If you able to be out there, then hey, whether good or bad, it's gonna come with the critiques. So you got to be on your A game, and it's been rough for MP so far, man. He had some ups, of course. He had some downs, he had some ups. He had a lot of both, but I think more downs than ups. But we'll see, man. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Hopefully, he can end it on a light note or on a nice note. But we just got to wait and see. He also said, I think we are the only team in the NFL that can have a solid lead with little time, and I am beyond worried. I also think we are the only team in the NFL that can be trailing with a solid amount of time, and I am beyond worried. A 60-minute game with the Baltimore Ravens is a 60-minute heart attack. I'm sure Chiefs fans or Brady fans or just fans of great teams feel good with a 10-point lead with less than 5 minutes to go. I'm pretty sure they feel good about their chances when a trailing team that has less than 5 minutes. I don't want to hear anything else about a division winner, playoff game, or even a Super Bowl. We are driving through quicksand, the same Ravens of old. Every single year, there are at least 6 games that are must-wins, like 6 teams on the schedule that you absolutely should flex on and show your dominance. I get it's any given Sunday, but I assure you the Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, even Captain Kirk and the Vikings aren't losing that game, a.k.a. the elite teams find a way to win. The Baltimore Ravens are average at best, and as I always say, they are competing for relevancy instead of competing to contend for a championship. Wow. We just talking about that a couple questions ago. Anyway, his last paragraph, he said, I finally come to the conclusion they completely flopped the Lamar Jackson experience. The MVP award is a player award. The team didn't win that. LJ did. This man literally is out there by his lonesome. We have more plays drew up for a 300-pound fullback than wins this year. It's a disgrace that we've made it this far, 4 years, and didn't land a game-changing offensive star to pair with this man. At the end of the day, Mark Andrews is a tight end, a star tight end, but Las Vegas has Waller and Adams. Chiefs had Kelsey and Hill. Vikes got Hawkinson and Jetters. I don't know, man. I don't want to give up on this season after this atrocity of a loss, but this feels like every other Ravens season. Stay relevant, overspend on defense, and set up for a Week 17 letdown to get in the playoffs. That's powerful right there. Now, I do think they'll make the playoffs. I still think they'll make the playoffs. The season ain't over, but I still don't see them as a Super Bowl team. But it's so weird, man. And the reason I don't is because even in the wins, even with the double dip, with the two, now you could change it because now they've had a 2-score lead in every game. Even in that, you see these same mistakes, you see these same issues that just haven't been being fixed yet, and it makes you wonder, like, all right, if they still haven't, they're repeat offenders for the same mistakes over and over, game in, game out, whether they win or lose. What's going to happen in the playoffs when it counts the most? Speaking of playoffs, next question came from my guy Manuel, and he said, playoffs. So what's up, Ingraven? After the ugly loss we had on Sunday, it came clear to me that the problem of this team is not only the coaching, it's also their philosophy of winning games their way instead of how it should be done. Win by running the ball and great defense instead of taking advantage of your opponent's weaknesses. If this goes on for the rest of the regular season, I can see us not doing well in the playoffs despite being different than the regular season, or worse, no playoffs at all. All for what? For the Purple Patrol defending the old and busted philosophy the Ravens have on winning their way instead of doing what needs to be done. Blaming Lamar for throws that the wide receivers drop in their hands, not paying Lamar his money just because he's better than that quarterback in Cleveland. The list goes on, and I don't want to make it a long one, but yeah, the Ravens have to change their way of winning yesteryear, or we will see Lamar leave the team for as much love as he has for the city Money talks. And P.S. if we don't bury the Broncos on Sunday, as we should, bye-bye playoffs. Oof. Yeah, this Broncos game coming up, man. We're going to see. I think they should be fine, but at the same time, I mean, I thought that they were going to be fine against the Jaguars and the Dolphins too. Bills, I was a little shaky about. I thought they'd be fine against the Giants though. So if it was like me, the way that I felt about every game the Ravens going into every game this year, they would only lost one. That's to the Bills. But other than that, obviously it's been other than that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this playoffs we're gonna see. And as far as changing stuff, I wouldn't expect anything to change this year. But we'll see if the Ravens could make it happen. With their same frame of mind. Next question came from my guy Greg and Baltimore. He said, "Hey, Ingraven, hope you and everyone in the team keep it clean. Community had a great time. There's a wide receiver I'm not hearing much about being Will Fuller. I know maybe there's injury worries, but it's not like we ain't risking the same with Deshaun Jackson, who I like. But since being active for the Ravens, there's been hamstring troubles. Will Fuller is retired." But anyway, he said, "Of course, I want OBJ's miracle, but I don't see that happening, and Fuller isn't likely going to be that premier player wide receiver Lamar Jackson needs, but it adds another veteran and depth to a young wide receiver group. Would you give a thumbs up or a thumbs down if the Ravens get Fuller? Unfortunately, however, if they haven't tried Fuller by now, I don't see that happening either. Another interesting name is still Antonio Brown." Oh, yeah, you're saying all these names that definitely ain't going down. Will Fuller's retired. Antonio Brown has had forced retirement. So yeah, but anyway, he said, but after last year, I'm not sure if he would hurt any team more than actually help it at this current time from what we know. Thanks for reading. And just like Lamar's new goddaughter, if she could speak at the moment coming into this world, might say, I'm out. Oh, that's an interesting way to end it. Next questions came from my guy, Kevin. He said, "Tell Ravens fans to stop pointing out that DeMarcus Robinson was the number 3 or 4 receiver at KC last year. That doesn't matter. What matters is getting the opportunity to ball, and you ball, LOL. For example, Troy Brown, Wes Welker, Michael Crabtree, Jacoby Jones, Tyler Lockett, and more. You can name a lot of non-number 1 receivers given an opportunity and balling. Support DeMarcus Robinson." And that shifted to his next question, offensive play calling. I told you this will be our downfall. You were right about them finding plays for Project Pat, but not finding plays for better playmakers. That's why I said use Drake like you used Duvernay. But you see what they did? They stopped using Drake altogether once Gus is playing. No, dummy, use them both. Shaking my head. I can't wait for the Ravens to get a new offensive coordinator, but by that time, they'll probably lose Lamar Jackson. Shaking my head. Your thoughts? I think that will be the case. Next question came from Tanja. She said, "What happened?" "Hey, Raven, how you and the family doing? I hope all is well. I was sitting here thinking about how great our defense is looking, but also concerned about our offense. Last season, our team was depleted due to injury, so Greg Roman was forced to have an efficient passing game because we had no run game. We had 2 pass catchers," and she put it in quotations, "that had over 1,000 yards in that season, and we were in the top of our division until Lamar got hurt. Now I'm thinking we would have expanded on the success we had last season. We would build on the passing game. I knew we would still have a run game, but that is not the focal point. Balance is the word. My question is, are we struggling because they failed to find a receiver with at least equal the talent as Hollywood? I don't think the Ravens, cared about the success of last season by the way they drafted. EDC was confident in the young receivers we have." Well, was he? That's what he said. Oh, how? Not one of them has played 60 minutes of a football game combined, but you trust him, and it's the last year of your quarterback's rookie contract? Yes, that's what I was saying all season. Oh my goodness, yes, I'm with this all day. Because I'm like, man, like really, like this is when you really want to run with the young wide receivers. And I mean, he ain't even trust him anyway because they went out and signed DeMarcus Robinson. So, anyway, I read an article on the Ravens page talking about Stephen A. and Keyshawn Johnson. They mentioned Lamar's lack of talent at the wide receiver position has the offense struggling. They mentioned Lamar passing stats and completion has went down, and he only has thrown 3 touchdowns in the last month or so because of the lack of premier talent at the wide receiver position. Then, the Ravens said that they want to prove that their way will take them to a Super Bowl by having good defense, running the ball, and Lamar's running ability. The Ravens are sad. They know Lamar can throw and refuse to get him receivers because they want to use his running abilities. Why get him receivers that cost money when they can run Lamar to death? Shaking my head. Yes, Lamar, run away from the Ravens and go somewhere that appreciates you and wants to invest in you. A team that will put talent all around you so you can show your unlocked potential and really go to a team that wants a Super Bowl. Not the Ravens who want to run them to the ground. Thanks for listening to my rant. Your friend, Tanja. That was powerful right there. And yeah, they love and trust Lamar's running ability, but they don't love and trust his throwing ability, and it shows how they build a team. Is Greg Roman really to blame? Next question came from my guy Sedarian. He said, "Hey, Ingraven, hope you and the family are doing well. I'm no Greg Roman apologist, but he shouldn't get all the blame for the Ravens passing game." That's true. He doesn't need to get all of it. You're 1,000% right. During the season, there has been plenty of overthrows and drop passes. I know some of the plays have been questionable, but the answer to most of these questions is execution. Lamar has to make better throws along with being able to trust who he's throwing to. So what would be the cure for drop passes and overthrows? A wide receiver. As a Ravens fan, I've never been wanting to hop on a wide receiver hype train, but now I've bought my tickets. Lamar needs that bailout type of receiver like Jefferson or Diggs. Is there anyone on this roster that can make Steelers secondary look like kids as A.J. Brown did? Who on this roster can make every throw catchable like Scary Terry? All of these receivers make their quarterbacks look like the best throwers because of the trust they have and their overall abilities. Never mind. Greg Roman just called a bad fourth down QB sneak. Oh, he sent this during the game. Let me see what. He sent it at 2:33 p.m. during it. So that was during the game. But yeah, that would help a lot, I'm sure. This is a funny one because my guy DJ Gloves, he sent this before the night before the game. So we didn't get to do a video on it, but he said, "Hey, team, keep it clean. It's Bobby, your new viewer, the special education teacher. Are Ravens fans sleeping on Jacksonville?" Well, Jacksonville sure woke him up. He has said, "Except toward the end of the games, Jacksonville has done well and stayed in games. I'm a little concerned with all the injuries. It's like last year all over again. Do you see a path for the Ravens to make the number one seed? I would love a home AFC championship game." Oof. So that would take them getting the number one seed and then winning the playoff game at the crib. And then it would be AFC championship game. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Do I see that number one seed now? It's possible, but you need a lot of help. You need the Bills to fall off a cliff. You need the Chiefs to fall off like Chris. So, nah, I don't see it happening anymore. My last question, what do you think is the reason PQ is playing better? I believe it's more than signing Ray Jr. Something changed with how fast he is making decisions. His instincts look better. Thanks for taking my questions. Hope you and the family are well. My family is doing a cruise soon. Can't wait to rep Baltimore outside the country. Oh, that should be fun, man. That should be fun. But yeah, man, PQ, because he was playing better before Roquan Smith even got there. But maybe it's just confidence in the defense, confidence in understanding and knowing the plays and his assignments and not just trying to do so much here, there, and everywhere. And then having Roquan Smith next to him, that was an added boost. So it all helps. Ravens. Next question came from my boy Joshua. He said, "What's up, Ingraven? Hope you and your family doing well. So I'm sending this a few minutes after the loss to the Jaguars. I had to give myself some time to calm down." That ain't that long, a few minutes. But anyway, that means you got some really good composure. So excuse me. He said, "LOL, I'm a senior in high school and I wanted to do sports communication, something similar to you working on like ESPN, like Stephen A. Smith, something like you. I'm kind of practicing right now, even though I can't be doing it on my life. So I want to know how you think my report is. I think we lost this game because of a lack of receivers, drops Marcus Peters and Brandon Stevens. I think Mike McDonald called a good game. It was just the execution. This makes me realize how important Kyle Hamilton is to this defense. Ain't that crazy? Like looking back, and I know again he's a rookie, and it was early in the season. A lot of times he's just looking lost. He's looking out of place, but it's like he's out one game and then everything falls apart. It's crazy, right? If it was me, I would have switched Brandon Stevens and Marlin or just throw in Pepe Williams in the slot. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know what they had going on. But anyway, he said, I think for the Ravens to really do something this year, we have to go get a playmaker other than Andrews. Everybody wants Odell, even me, but realistically, he's most likely going on the Cowboys. I hate to say it, but I really hate to think it, but I think Lamar's probably going to leave next year. What do you think? I think he is too. He said, "Thanks for reading this, and sorry if it was long. Just hope you and your family have a great week." And he wasn't done yet. He said, "I forgot to say something else. I wanted you to talk about how Marcus Peters still looks kind of hurt. He plays off like 10 yards almost every play, and as an offensive coordinator, I would do the same things they are. And if he just giving me the short route and then having a slow time breaking out of the back pedal and looks like he lost a step, I've seen him get burned a lot. If you were EDC after the season, are you re-signing him? Thanks again for reading this, and have a good day." Hey, no problem. I don't think they re-signing him at all. I don't think they re-signing Marcus Peters at all. It just, and this, we were talking about this before, even before the bad play or whatever. We were talking about this from a while ago. So it ain't nothing new. But the play is just that kind of like makes it even more likely or unlikely that he gets re-signed by the Ravens. And I was thinking about it a couple days ago. I think like for his next team, he'll be a year removed from the ACL, so he should have more confidence in his legs. But I think they'll sign him to a 1-year deal just to test him out, see how he is. And he's a little older. He ain't like old or nothing like that. It ain't time to move to safety yet, but he's a little older. I think he's still bouncing back from the injury, but I don't know. But I think the next team that he signs to, I think they'll sign him to like a 1-year deal. just like a sort of prove what you still got, prove that you can still make some stuff happen, and then it'll go from there. And the last questions also came from my boy Flirt Nowinski. He said, that week cover 2 match, bro, just sending this after it got picked apart per usual. He been talking about that from very beginning of the season. He been on that cover 2 match. He said Peter screams because the fall was horrible. Nothing new, just sending this mid-game because of superstition at this point. I try to tell you, man, superstition ain't real. The sending the emails during the game, it don't change nothing. Whatever gonna happen. And you see they lost. But anyway, he said, but my question for us OG Ravens fans, no knock to our new fans, but we know how it is every time the Ravens play players out of their position. In the beginning of the season, we all thought it would be Chuck in the box, but it's been Hamilton, and he's been thriving. Do you think we finally hit the jackpot with playing a player out of position? I mean, yeah, with Hamilton, yeah, it's been clicking for him now. So, yeah, it's been getting better and better. He said he's tall, he can tackle, he has good play recognition, doesn't have top-end speed, but he can definitely move. It's looking like we found ourselves a new sub-backer. And just like the dude that recovered Mark's fumble, I'm out. I like that. That was a really good one. He said, sheesh, Gus just fumbled. I hope he's not going to be in the doghouse. Nah, ain't no room. Gus too big to fit in John Harbaugh's doghouse. He said, so I hate that cover 2 match, so I won't dog it out right now, but man, Smith has made Queen a lot better, bro. I know we probably won't keep him, but man, it's looking great out there. I mean, let's be honest, bro. Lamar's gone. We know they love defense. We might as well lock him in. OMG, mama, they're going to pop DJs. He just caught a bomb. Sorry, but what you think? We going to lock up Smith and Queen? No. I would like if they could keep them 2 together. I just don't see it happening. He said, and like Edwards would probably be with the lineup, I'm out. Okay. And then another one during the game. He said, all right, bro, I think it's time. McDonald needs to be fired. Whoa. Everybody talk about Giro being so bad and just riding off the talent the offense has, and his play calls are horrible. You can ride either side of the fence with that. But McDonald, he's literally riding off the talent we have. His play calls are horrible. He only calls the same young cover 2 match 90% of the game. Bro, how many games do we have to watch it get picked apart before he's fired? Like, I get it. If he didn't fumble, then we wouldn't be here. But guess what? He fumbled. The offense delivered when they needed to. We took every field goal. Bro, it's inexcusable at this point. We all know a simple flood concept and a wheel route will destroy cover 2 match. It's funny because we literally got killed with the running back wheel route. And per usual, a simple flood concept. Now, it's easy to talk about the bad things when you lose, but you know me, bro. I've been saying this when we are winning. That's exactly what I was just saying earlier. He been talking about this from jump. He said it's so bad you have his own corner screaming at the coaches every game for not playing man in critical situation. If that's not bad, I don't know what is, bro. Per usual, I'm discussing with McDonald and his team's inability to let McDonald go, but they had no problem letting Wink walk, even though he had our defense top 5 since Lamar has been there. And last year, having a practice team defense in the top 10. He's not doing nothing special in NY, though, just taking a terrible defense, having them play great. On a team that doesn't have a good quarterback or good line or good wide receivers, top 10 in sacks or way less talent on the roster, it's just mind-boggling to me, bro. But yeah, well, Wink, I mean, I think Wink probably wanted out, too. Wink was probably like, I'm going, let me up out of here. And they were like, oh, well, you know what? We got one of our friends that we wanted to come back, so all right, Wink, see you, buddy. And that was that. But anyway, he said, and with McDonald, they ain't gonna just let him go. He just got here. They ain't gonna let him go. I mean, you know that. He said, but if you think about it, it's funny. Lamar is literally suiting up for another team at this point, and he represents himself. So does Smith. Yeah, I forget about that. That's Roquan Smith represents himself too. He said he wants to play for a contender, and we are not. So not only is the organization incapable of getting rid of McDonald, for this, they will essentially be letting 2 young generational athletes walk on both sides of the ball. I can't make this up, man. I'm out. I don't think Roquan's walking at all. Now, Lamar ain't gonna walk either. What I think is gonna happen, if they re-sign Roquan, they franchise tag and trade Lamar. And then his last one, he said, right after I seen the tweet, bro, I knew it was over. Man, they are spinning it left everywhere. Now, I'm not going to get into deep with it, but Lamar has exchanged it with fans a lot, so I know we all follow him on Twitter, IG, etc. So I'll leave it there. But this is where the conspiracy theory is starting to come true. We all know the media hates Lamar, so cool, I'm past that. We all know if the Chiefs lose or the Bills lose with lackluster performances from their QB, no matter how good the defense did, it's always a defense. But bro, the man literally did everything possible to keep them in the game. The man went head up with a safety just to stay in bounds and keep the clock rolling. The small genius things he did on the last 2 drives, I didn't even notice that. The small genius things he did on the last 2 drives are going to get spun into it's his fault. I believe the Ravens will spin this one too. Sad to say, bro, but our good brother is out the door. I'm sad thinking about it, but honestly, what more could he have done? I promise you, I'm locking my phone and going to sleep. Peace, bro. Blessings. I'm out, just like Lamar might be.
Yeah, this feels like a